So he told me that about 20 years ago, he just got involved in recycling, and that's his passion. And so he spent the last, I think, 16 years with MARC. He's the outreach coordinator to go about, and you see a lot, I think those are kind of refrigerator magnets that he's laid out, left on the tables. So he's focused on that as part of his career. So I asked him, I said, so he's been at Kansas City his whole life, and he has two young daughters. And without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Matt Riggs, and we are looking forward to his presentation.
Good afternoon. It's a lovely place here. Going here. My name's Matt, as you mentioned, and I'm here today to talk about recycling. I'm sure some of you recycle, and probably some have been recycling for a long time. But the goal of today's presentation is really to help you recycle better, both at your home and at your business, and in any other endeavor you're pursuing in your life. So I'd like to get things started with a little bit of trivia, kind of get the perspective on what we're talking about. So I want to see a show of hands if you have the following information. Do you know how much trash we each produce as individuals every day in pounds? No, I'm not going to do it in metrics. Pounds. Just pounds. The idea is how many pounds? 50? 5 or 6? That's quite a range. 28, 3.5. You guys are all over the map, aren't you? Okay, it's 1,000. No, it's actually 7 pounds. So towards the bottom of that, 7 pounds of trash per person per day, which equals about a ton of trash per person per year. So you don't think about that as you go through your day. That's a lot. And the thing that is good, though, is that we can do something about this. Because right here in the Kansas City metro area, most of what we throw away in our trash on a weekly basis is actually reusable, recyclable, or compostable. So if you do a truly good job of recycling and reusing and composting, you would really not have much waste left at all to go out in the trash. So first I'm going to talk a little bit more about who we are, but just in the essence of time here, I want to just pass this clipboard around. It has a free program on it that I encourage you to join. It's a partnership, it's a Recycle More Work partnership, and I'll talk about that more in my presentation, but it is free. It's totally at your own pace, and it really helps you take recycling to the next level of your organization. So if you're wondering, well, what are the details? They're all in front. Just look it up and sign your business up. All right, so what is the MARC Solid Waste Management District? Well, we are the Regional Solid Waste Planning Agency for the 5 counties in the Missouri side. We work cooperatively with the 4 counties on Kansas. So that's Platte, Clay, Ray, Jackson, Cass, and then Leavenworth, Wyandotte, Johnson, Miami County, which is the same 9-county area that the Mid-America Regional Council serves. Our goal, basically our bottom line, is to keep stuff out of the landfill. Because once it's in the landfill, it's like a tune. It's not going anywhere, it's not ever going to be used again. So we think there's a better use for it. So how do we do this? We run the regional HHW program. So if you have old paint at your house and want to get rid of it, we run the program that takes that. We provide technical assistance where we go out to businesses and stuff and help them improve their recycling. We provide regional strategic planning, which is from the 30,000 foot view of the region and what we need to do to increase and improve solid waste reduction and recycling. We provide outreach, just like I'm doing today. And then we have a really cool grant program. This grant money is available to any of you. It's also available to governments, individuals, schools, and nonprofits. And it is, if you have a project that is going to reduce waste, recycle, compost, or even do education on those topics, then you are eligible for funding. This applies mainly to the Missouri side, but if you live in Kansas or your business is in Kansas, if you're diverting weight in Missouri, it will work for that too. So I put a little line on the bottom of that sign-up sheet more around. If you want more information about that, please just circle yes. Okay, so a couple of years ago, we realized that recycling was really low here in the metro area. The national average recycling is about 34 to 35%, but we know by that 7-pound figure that we're not doing that well here. We're probably down more than 20 percentile area. So we decided to really kick it up a notch by having our Recycle More campaign, which really just encouraged people to do just that, recycle more. Whatever you're currently recycling is great, but take it to the next step. So you may have seen some of our advertising on billboards, buses, and on digital formats. The basic mission of this program, like I said, is to get people to recycle that one more thing, take it to the next step. We're going to look at the big picture for a second. This inverted triangle is what our industry is based on. And down the side over here it says most preferred to least preferred. So in terms of waste, the most preferred thing to do with waste is not created in the first place, which is source reduction and reuse. But as a region, we're more in this area right here. We really just need to get people to recycle and compost better. And then on down the line, you have energy recovery and treatment and disposal, which is basically when it goes into a landfill. So the power of recycling. Most of the time, when you hear about recycling, you get a warm, fuzzy green feeling, don't you? Because you know you're doing your part to save the earth. That's what we always hear about recycling. I'm saving the planet. I'm recycling cans of paper. And there are some great environmental benefits to recycling. Recycling reduces use of natural resources, lumber, minerals, etc. It reduces the amount of energy used. And one of the most important things is it reduces the pollution that is caused by pulling virgin resources off the soil, out of the soil, out of the ground, etc., and making them into new products versus recycling and reuse. So it does have some great environmental benefits, but a couple areas that people often don't think about are the health benefits. Now I'm not sure about you, but the last time I went and recycled my old newspaper in my bin, I wasn't thinking, you know, I'm going to do something good for my health today. I'm going to throw my newspaper in this bin, and I will feel healthier. Well, it's not as direct a consequence as that, but there are enormous health impacts to recycling. Because when you think about it, everything that we use in a given day, the clothes you wear, the table you're sitting at, the food you eat, the car you drive, etc., all those come from natural resources. And all those natural resources have to be harvested, built, distributed, packaged, sold, and all that uses a lot of resources and energy and creates a lot of pollution. So by recycling, you're greatly reducing not only the energy resources, but the amount of pollution. And that pollution hits us all, it affects us all, because it gets in the water we drink, it gets in the air we breathe, and it gets in the food we eat. So it's very important from that perspective. And then there's the economics of recycling. This is not a topic that's spoken of very often, but it should be because the economic impact of recycling is pretty big. We just had a study done that showed that it is estimated in 2015, recycling activities contributed in the 14-county Kansas City metropolitan statistical area. It contributed 6,250 jobs. To put that in perspective, that's larger than public utilities, printing and related support activities, chemical manufacturing, machinery manufacturing, and highway, street, bridge construction. So it creates a lot of jobs, created $214 million in wages, and $58.5 million in tax revenue to state and local government. So it's a pretty powerful economic player. So it's not just a little green feel-good thing that's over here on the side. It is a vital part of our economy. And when you recycle, you really are helping to support local jobs. So we recently updated this Prezi. This is a Prezi. It's the next great thing after PowerPoint. And for some reason, this portion of it, the new feature just isn't working right. For somebody, it's kind of got a stutter going on. So anyway, bear with me. So there's more to recycling than just throwing your can in your bin. That's where we all come into the picture. It's like, well, I throw my stuff in the bin, put it on the curb, it goes away, something happens to it, it's all wonderful, good. But there's more to it than that. There's these 4 steps. Collection is basically where you interact with the system. You do a curbside drop-off, or maybe you go to a collection event in your community, and you get rid of your stuff. Then there's this mess. Processing. Just pay attention to the little graphics. The big ones are too confusing. Recyclables are sorted and baled. So they go from your house or your recycling center to the local material recovery facility where they all get sorted into 1,000 to 2,500 pound bales, and they get shipped off to be made into new products. Manufacturing. Recyclables are made into new products. So there's a lot of recyclables in the products we use all the time, like a cereal box, toilet paper, paper towels. But there's some things that you may not think of. They're really everywhere and can be used for all kinds of stuff that you might use traditional virgin resources for. So one thing is an old aluminum can. It can become a new airplane hull, because airplane hulls are made of aluminum. Old glass bottles and jars can become insulation for your walls, fiberglass insulation. So recyclables truly are all around us. One of the key things we have to remember, though, is we're not actually recycling until we're buying recycling. Because the whole thing is a cycle, right? It's not just a one-way street, like buy it, use it, throw it in the trash. It's using those resources over and over again. So we actually have to buy stuff made from the stuff that we recycle in order to truly be recycling and closing that loop. Real briefly, where does our trash go? The landfill. This is what we're trying to keep it out of. A few things about landfill. Despite popular conception, nothing breaks down or decays in a landfill because the stuff is packed in there so tight that it doesn't decompose. So like I said, it's a tomb. Trash goes there to live for the rest of eternity. It also creates leachate, which is all the water that goes down to the landfill from the rain, washes against all that dirty, nasty stuff in there, and it creates leachate, which has to be dealt with. And landfills are huge producers of methane gas, which is a very potent air pollutant. So there's a better way than just throwing the trash. So now I'm going to briefly go through some of the ways that you can address that 7 pounds, because I'm sure you're all feeling really guilty now, aren't you? 7 pounds, how can I face my friends and my family? I know, I felt that way for many years. So the bin, quick show of hands, how many of you guys have curbside recycling at your house? Good to know. So if you're used to curbside recycling, these are probably the items you're used to recycling: cans, bottles, plastic bottles, containers, paper, cardboard, the basics. But like I said, we want you to recycle more. And we're going to talk about a few areas that maybe you haven't thought about ever recycling, or maybe you have a lot of questions on and just not sure what goes where. And so hopefully this will help clear that up for you. So, glass. We all have some glass in our house. And so, is it recyclable? Yes, it is. You can't put it in your curbside bin, unfortunately, for a number of reasons, which I'm not going to go into right now, but you can't put it in your curbside bin. But it is 100% recyclable. You can take your food and beverage containers, beer bottles, wine bottles, pickle jars, all that kind of stuff. You can take old shower doors, old storm windows, stuff like that. As long as the frames are removed, you can recycle that. You can even recycle glass dishware. I don't know about you, but a lot of times I'll be loading the dishwasher or unloading the dishwasher, and I drop a plate or a cup until this came along and I had to just throw it in the trash. But if it's actually made of glass, you can recycle it. The only thing they don't want in this bin or in these bins are stuff that breaks, like glass, but it's not glass. Stuff like Pyrex, Corelware, porcelain, crystal, all that kind of stuff. That cannot go in there. But if it's truly glass, it can go in there, and all this stuff can be taken to those large purple dumpsters you see around town, purple glass. They're all over the place, grocery stores, liquor stores, so there should be one in the neighborhood near you. Just a quick tangent here. All the materials I'm talking about are all on recyclespot.org, which we're going to talk about in a minute. It's our website, so you don't have to think, I can't remember what he said about it, because we'll be able to find it all. Electronics. Another show of hands. How many of you guys have an old computer at home that doesn't work anymore? Or an old cell phone, or an old stereo, or maybe a VCR. Any VCR owners out there? So you got one of those stuck down the basement somewhere? Yes. Electronics are everywhere, especially in the digital age where everybody has a little device device. They're on their device all the time. More and more devices. Are these recyclable? Yes, they are. So we're talking about computers, televisions, stereos, and other audio-visual stuff, of course. But the cool thing about this category is it also includes small appliances. They don't make them like they used to. So every couple months, it seems like the coffee maker goes out, and you have to get a new one. Well, coffee makers, hair dryers, vacuum cleaners are all 100% recyclable in the metro area. Good way to think about electronics is if it runs on a cord, or a plug, or it runs on a battery, it's recyclable. That's how you think about electronics. But that's a huge part of our waste stream, none of which needs to go in the trash. Batteries. Just as we have electronics, we have a lot of batteries. Luckily, our vehicle batteries get changed out. We take it for tune-up, that kind of stuff. But we have a lot of rechargeable batteries from our devices, our rechargeable tools, and we have a lot of single-use batteries from like hearing aids, watches, flashlights, all that kind of stuff. Great thing is, all those can stay out of the trash. They're all recyclable right in the metro area. Another show of hands. I'm making sure you look at exercise because lunch tends to make you sleepy. So another show of hands. It's not too much. Just with one hand up in the air. How many of you guys have old paint at your house? Old paint that you either A, inherited from the last homeowner because it was so nice to leave that for you in the basement when you walked down like, oh great, mauve paint from 1982, just what I wanted. Or maybe you have your own collection. You've lived in your house for 40, 50 years and you've got this collection of stuff you no longer want. You don't know what to do with it. Well, this is called household hazardous waste. And it is anything in your house that's a little bit scary that lives under your sink or out in your garage. So we're talking paint, cleaners, automotive fluids, weed killers, bug sprays, pesticides, fluorescent light bulbs, which have mercury in them, so you don't want to get that in your system. All this stuff is 100% recyclable right here in the metro area. There are household hazardous waste facilities that serve all the communities in the metro area. And it is a great way to get rid of this stuff because you don't want to dump it in your backyard, or down the toilet, or down the storm drain, because it is nasty stuff. And we don't want it in our environment or in our bodies. So all that stuff is 100% recyclable. Building materials. So every once in a while we're remodeling, or getting a new sink, or a new light fixture. And maybe in the past we just threw the old one in the trash. Well, no more. No need to do that anymore. So the way to think about building materials is think of the last time you walked in a Home Depot or a Lowe's or a Westlake. Think of the thousands of items they have in stock. Well, if you have those items and they're used and in good shape, or they're surplus from a building job that you did or had somebody do, those are all 100% reusable and donatable. So we're talking lumber, plumbing, electrical, anything you can imagine. And the cool thing is all this stuff can be taken and donated to a place called Habitat Restore. I'm sure you're all familiar with Habitat for Humanity. It's a great organization. This is an arm of Habitat. And the cool thing about this is when you donate your old stuff to Habitat for Humanity, it not only does it keep it out of the landfill, but the profits from the sale of this material go to Habitat for Humanity. And the third thing, one of the coolest things, is you can shop at the Habitat Restore. So for pennies on the dollar, you can get things that you would have spent a lot more on at a regular hardware store, Home Depot, or Lowe's, and you're supporting a great cause. So it's a great place to keep in mind the next building project that comes up. Appliances, I'm not going to spend too much time on those. They're made of metal, they're 100% recyclable, there's all kinds of options for them. Automotive, we all know a do-it-yourselfer probably has a few of these items sitting in the garage, tires, etc. The great thing is, all these things are 100% recyclable. Tires, any retailer that sells tires generally takes it back. There's all kinds of salvage and other options for all these items. Household. I'm going to spend a long time on this, but basically anytime you're cleaning out your garage, your basement, getting rid of all this kind of stuff, no matter what it is, if it's in good shape, it's clean, and good working order, it should all be donated. It keeps it out of the landfill and puts it into somebody else's hands who needs it. Yard and food waste. Cool thing is we have all kinds of great options for yard waste. The number one being in the spring and summer, grass clippings, leave them on the lawn, mulch them. Same thing in the fall, mulch your leaves, takes care of all that. But occasionally there's, other brush and stuff you have to get rid of, but we have a lot of pickup and drop off options for all that. The real problem in our area comes with food. Food waste and yard waste together make up about 20 to 30% of the waste that we generate in our homes and our businesses. That's a lot. That's like a third to a fourth of the waste we create. Unfortunately, we don't have a curbside food waste collection system yet, but we're hoping for one. I know they have one like in San Francisco. They have a 3-bin system where you put your trash in one, your recyclables in another, and your food and yard waste in another, which is an excellent way. Hopefully we'll get there. But in the meantime, there are a lot of great options for backyard composting, and you can even do it in your apartment, etc. And all those options and instructions are listed on our website. Metal, same thing. Metal's 100% recyclable. It's good to go. Plastics. This is the quagmire of recycling. This is where people get so confused. Bags, bottles, caps, all this stuff. Styrofoam. I don't know what to do with it. But the good thing is, on our webpage, we have a page dedicated strictly to plastics. And it has a picture of it, what number it is, whether it's recyclable or not. Very helpful. I won't go into detail on that right now, but if you have questions about recycling, especially plastics, go to that page. Miscellaneous, couple items on here. Mattresses and box springs, completely recyclable in our area. Wax cartons, so if you get your milk in a wax carton, or soup broth or whatever, 100% recyclable. Prescription drugs, take those to household hazardous waste facilities. CVS or Walgreens have little envelopes you can buy to send them back. You definitely don't want to leave those around your house or flush them down the toilet, which is a little wives' tale. All it does is put the whole environment on your medication. Quickly, recyclespot.org. This is a little magnet I gave you guys. A little magnet. So if you go home with nothing else today, you go home with a great, high-quality refrigerator magnet. It'll last you years, waterproof. So here's our website. Real quick, if you have something to get rid of, let's say you have an old computer. Type in, I have an old computer. My item is broken, recyclable, or it's in good shape, or I just don't know. You mark that near my zip code within so many miles. So if you're not willing to go more than 5 miles, we give you that option. Or if you're a super duper turbo recycler and you can go up to 50 miles, you have that option too. So you type that in and you get a whole list. All these places take your old computer, tells where they are, you can print out a map, directions, etc., etc. Or let's say you're moving. So let's say right now you live in KCMO, but your job is going to be in Raymore. You're going to move to Raymore. It's like, you know what the services are in KCMO, you have no idea what they are in Raymore. Type in the title of the city you're going to, and it'll pull up a list of all the core services offered in that city: curbside, drop-off, recycling, yard waste, household hazardous waste. It gives you a great start when you move to your new location. It's also important to recycle right. One of the biggest problems in recycling nowadays is there's a lot of stuff in bins that shouldn't be going in bins. And I see this all the time when I'm out walking or running in my neighborhood. So, a few tips. Keep items loose. Anything that's in a bag is assumed to be trash and will be thrown in the trash by your hauler. So don't put recyclables in bags. Flatten boxes, because they can take up the whole bin. Rinse your containers, just a little rinse. You don't have to put them in the dishwasher, scrub them out, or anything like that. Sandblast them, they're good to go. It's just a little rinse. Keep things dry. No plastic bags. They are plastic, so you think, hey, my program takes plastic, I can put it in there. Unfortunately, no, they don't want plastic bags. They also don't want tanglers. See, this is a word you can take home and share with people you love. Say, hey, you don't know what a tangler is. It's a fishing lure or something? No. A tangler is any long, stringy thing. So that means like a garden hose, an extension cord, a rope, those things. All those bags and tanglers, those get caught up in the equipment at the material recovery facility. You have to literally shut the place down to remove it all, which costs time and money. No food, no liquids. Don't be a wishful recycler if you're a recycler. The thing about wishful recyclers is they're great people, but they do things for slightly wrong reasons. They see a recycling symbol on something and say, well, it's probably recyclable, it's got a symbol on it, or you really hope it's recyclable, you're not sure if it's recyclable. But don't be wishful recycling. Only recycle what your program accepts. Whatever your hauler says, we only want these materials, only put those materials in your bin. Then, I need your help. I'm one person, you're many people, you have many people that work for you, you have many people you know. So I need your help in spreading the word. There are 3 great ways you can do this. This is another wonderful Prezi. this big orange thing coming out of the head. That's really helpful, Prezi. Thank you very much for that graphic help. Actually, that's supposed to have our social media on it. You can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, our blog. We have great information on recycling tips and other information helping improve your recycling. You can also use cards and magnets. I have a bunch of these at the table back there, so as you leave, posters about the whole 7 pounds thing, a great talking point, little table toppers, brochures telling you where you can take your paint and other stuff, and of course, more magnets, so please feel free to pick up some of those on your way out. And last but not least, the Recycle More at Work, which is I pass the clipboard around. This is a great way for you to get your business down in the trenches and get you guys recycling more and better. Because my guess is a lot of you have recycling in your workplace, but it's probably plagued by a few problems such as people don't really know what goes where, you get a lot of contamination, maybe people don't use it at all because no one ever told them you have a recycling program. These are all issues we can help you fix. So by signing up for this free program, you can take it to the next step. Basically, we will come and do a lunch and learn. So I'll give this presentation to your staff. I'll do a walkthrough where we walk through and look at your situation, see what your bins you got, what you're generating, give you tips for how to set up a better recycling system in your business. I will come and do Eco Elvis. Eco Elvis is the environmentally friendly Elvis impersonator. I will come as Eco Elvis and harass your employees for you. So it's free, so who can resist that? That's another bonus. We'll also promote your efforts on social media, and we'll put your logo on our website. So it's all free, it's at your own pace, there's no pressure, so I hope you signed up on that sheet. And that is it for me. Question? Thank you.
Thank you, man. Questions. All right. Go.
Thank you, great presentation. Question, other than the landfill in Shawnee, is there another landfill at this time in the metropolitan area?
Yes. Landfills, there's different kinds of landfills, but the one in Shawnee, the Nelson County landfill, is a municipal solid waste landfill, so it's basically where all our trash goes, all our business trash goes. There's that one, that is the biggest one. Lion's share of the waste in our metro area goes to that one. There's also one in Lee Summit, which is a lot smaller, and then there's one called Courtney Ridge and Sugar Creek. So those are the 3 major landfills that are in our metro area. But then again, some of our waste, if you're in the outlying parts of the counties, may go to a landfill outside our region. So there's a lot of back and forth. It's a very involved process. If any of you live in Lee Summit and are familiar with what's going on out there, they've been trying to straighten out their landfill issue for a long time, relocating it, opening a new one, and it has been an uphill battle. It takes like 10 years for the whole process of finding a site, getting permission, vetting all the residents. So that's one reason that we are pro-recycling, is it's to keep stuff out of the landfill to put it to better use, because landfills are hard to site, and I don't know about you, but nobody wants to live next to a landfill either. So,
Doug, I've always heard that there's this huge island of plastic floating around the Pacific Ocean. First of all, is that fake news? And second of all,
it's an alternate fact. Yes,
second of all, why aren't there any companies actually looking at it as a commercial opportunity to mine?
Well, there are some. I've seen some people developing technologies where you can actually go out in the ocean, and through advanced sweeping technique with nets and stuff, they're actually harvesting a lot of that plastic. I don't think it's at the commercial stage yet, where it's like we've got a bunch of it now, what we do with it. But I know there's people looking at actually harvesting that and getting it out of the ocean.
I was going to ask about styrofoam. I saw it on the list, and I'd always heard styrofoam was not recyclable.
Styrofoam is, she's pretty much right. It's pretty much not recyclable in the metro area. Anytime a styrofoam that has had contact with food or beverages, so coffee cups, egg cartons, meat trays, takeout containers in the local Chinese restaurant, for instance, none of those are recyclable. If it's had food or if it's had beverages on it, it is not recyclable. The stuff that comes in your new microwave or around your new refrigerator, the big blocks maybe a styrofoam cooler or styrofoam peanuts. There's a few places you can take those in the metro area, but for the most part, we just say try to avoid styrofoam because if you collect a few bags of it, it might be worth carting it across town to recycle. But it also takes up a lot of space at your house too. So,
Henry?
Two things. Do you promote soil organics, food composting? That's the number one. And the other is, I grew up in Denmark and they're actually importing trash because it's a business sorting it and reusing it. So they're actually to the point where they get trash in from other countries.
yeah, I know that I think that one of the key differences between Europe and other parts of our country and right here is space. In Europe and a lot of the smaller states on the coast, they have no space for landfills. They have sky-high tipping fees, which is the fee you pay when you dispose of stuff in a landfill. So it's in those places' best interest to find an alternative. Unfortunately, we have lots of space here in the Midwest, so it's not a crisis, it's not seen as a problem, and we're trying to kind of get in on that and prevent that from ever becoming a problem. But to your point about organics, organics has really taken off. There's a company in this metro area called Missouri Organic Recycling, and they take any type of yard waste, but they also take food waste. And they work with a lot of businesses and organizations of every imaginable size, stripe, and color, and they can actually recycle all your food waste generated on site. So if any of your businesses, for instance, have a cafeteria, generate a lot of food waste, or if you're in the restaurant business or something, I definitely recommend that you hook up with them because they can basically divert all that from your waste stream.
Our last question, Carl.
Okay, well, I got two or three. The caps that come on vitamin bottles, should be left on the bottle or?
Yeah, caps, plastic caps, not just vitamin bottles, but any kind of bottle or container, yogurt cups, salad dressing bottle. It's always best to rinse them out and put the cap back on because caps are small and they tend to fall through the sorting machinery. So yes, it's always best to put caps back on.
Back on, okay. Yeah, well, put the glass in glass recycle, and the cap itself, can it go in the recycle?
Well, yeah, depending on what the cap's made from. If it's metal, it can go in your regular curbside recycling bin. If it's plastic, it can go in your curbside bin. But you want to take it off the glass because the problem there is two different types of material.
Now, you showed that logo of the recycled. What numbers are not recyclable?
Well,
Or is that logo only on recyclable?
No, the numbers that he's talking about are the resin codes, and those really only apply to the plastic stream.
Okay.
So if you're wanting to know what plastics are recyclable, this is all spelled out on our webpage, by the way, but it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are resin codes used by the industry to determine the type of plastic it is so they know what batch to put it in when they sort it and make it into new plastic. But yes, most of our plastics that we come across in our grocery stores or Target or Walmart are recyclable, and most of those are going to be 1s, 2s, and 5s with a sprinkling of the others. So.
Now, our website pickup, our roadside pickup, it looks like it all dumps into one truck. How do they sort that?
Well,
what they're going to recycle?
Yeah, in the old days, in our area, we had curbside sorting, which was a very tedious way of sorting out the person's recyclables at the curb. So the guy is standing with the truck, putting the paper in that bin, cans in that bin. Somewhere along the line, people said, that's not a good business model. Let's go to commingled or single stream. So now all those materials, like on the slide says the bin, all the stuff you put in your curbside, it's all commingled, it goes in the bin together, all gets mixed up in the truck together. When it goes to the MRF, it gets dumped out of the truck, and then they sort it at the MRF it's partially automated, it's also partially manual labor where they sort it all out. Thank you.
And sir, I think we're back over here, right? Back at the table, so feel free to ask Matt